Remember when casino dealers were professionals who took pride in running clean games? When a mistake was genuinely an accident, not a calculated profit strategy? When dealers had your back instead of being trained to work against you? Those days are over. What has replaced them is something far more sinister. It is a systematic campaign to eliminate experienced dealers and replace them with workers who are instructed, either directly or indirectly, to make errors that benefit the casino. In this video, I reveal the leaked training materials that show how casinos are deliberately hiring inexperienced dealers and providing them with inadequate training. We will examine the secret termination lists of veteran dealers who were fired for being customer-friendly. And I will play the executive confession, where casino management admits they profit more from dealer mistakes than from skilled game management. Tell me this. When did visiting your favorite casino start feeling like the dealers were working against you instead of just doing their job? And why do their accidents always seem to favor the house? For decades, Las Vegas dealers were the backbone of the casino experience. They were not just employees, they were professionals who took immense pride in their craft. From the 1990s through the early 2010s, becoming a dealer meant entering a respected profession with decent pay, benefits, and a career path. These veteran dealers knew every nuance of their games, maintained perfect accuracy, and built relationships with regular players. I spoke with Martin, who dealt blackjack on the Strip for 22 years before being suddenly terminated in 2023. He told me, "We were trained to run clean games. That was our professional standard. We took pride in accuracy and fairness. Management used to value that. We protected the integrity of the games while still making money for the house." Another veteran dealer, Sarah, who spent 17 years at a major Strip property, described the golden era. "We knew our regulars by name. We celebrated their wins and commiserated with their losses. There was a mutual respect between players and dealers. We were not there to fleece anyone. We were there to provide entertainment while running a fair game." These professionals were not just going through the motions. They were guardians of game integrity, ambassadors for their casinos, and often the reason players return to specific properties. Casinos recognize this value, investing in comprehensive training programs and career development for their dealing staff. But those days are gone, friend. Casino executives realized they could make more money from incompetent dealers than professional ones. The transformation began subtly around 2020. Under the guise of pandemic-related restructuring, casinos began quietly shifting their dealer workforce philosophy. What appeared initially as cost-cutting measures during uncertain times was actually the beginning of a calculated strategy. A confidential casino operations memo I obtained from 2020 states, "Personnel restructuring provides opportunity to optimize dealer efficiency metrics and reduce dependency on legacy staff." This seemingly innocuous corporate jargon masked a sinister plan to systematically eliminate experienced dealers. By 2021, most major Strip properties had begun implementing what industry insiders called performance optimization, a euphemism for setting impossible standards for veteran dealers while simultaneously relaxing training requirements for new hires. The revelation came when a whistleblower shared the results of an internal study conducted by a major casino group. The study, which was never intended to be made public, found that inexperienced dealers with minimal training generated 23% more revenue through what were labeled as procedural inconsistencies, corporate speak for mistakes that benefit the house. This was not just a cost-cutting measure, it was a profit strategy. Casinos discovered they could make more money from dealers who made errors than from those who ran games perfectly. The math was simple, but devastating. Eliminate the professionals, replace them with undertrained dealers, and watch profits rise as mistakes consistently favored the house. By 2022, this strategy had evolved into a coordinated effort across multiple casino properties. A leaked internal document I obtained reveals the existence of Project Clean Slate, a systematic plan to remove veteran dealers and replace them with a new workforce that would be cheaper, less experienced, and, crucially, more likely to make errors that favored the house. The document outlines specific termination targets, including a goal to transition 60% of dealers with 10 or more years of experience by the fourth quarter of 2022 through strategic performance management. In other words, find ways to fire the veterans. The evidence of this coordinated purge is overwhelming. I have compiled termination data from 6 major Strip properties, revealing that between 2022 and 2024, more than 70% of dealers with more than 15 years of experience were terminated. These were not random firings. They specifically targeted the most experienced professionals. James, a former pit boss who worked at a prominent Strip casino until early 2023, confirmed this strategy. He said they were instructed to document minor infractions by veteran dealers, things that had never been issues before. Management wanted paper trails to justify terminations. Meanwhile, new dealers were making significant mistakes that cost players money, and those mistakes were ignored or even subtly encouraged. The training programs tell an equally disturbing story. I obtained dealer training materials from 2019 and compared them to current training documents. The difference is shocking. In 2019, new dealer training lasted 12 weeks with comprehensive instruction on game procedures, error prevention, and customer service. Today, that same casino's training program is just 4 weeks, with minimal emphasis on accuracy and error prevention. A current dealer trainer speaking anonymously told me that management instructed staff to focus on speed over accuracy. New dealers are rushed onto the floor before they are ready. When the trainer raised concerns about their error rates, management said they will learn on the job. Many of these errors consistently favor the house, and there is no urgency to correct them. The internal performance metrics tell an equally disturbing story. In 2023, casinos implemented what they called efficiency standards that veteran dealers describe as impossible to meet. These included dealing speed requirements that forced dealers to rush, increasing error rates, customer interaction limitations that penalized dealers for being too friendly with players, complex procedural requirements deliberately designed to trip up experienced dealers who had developed their own efficient methods. Meanwhile, new dealers were evaluated under much more lenient standards, with learning curve allowances for errors that almost always seemed to benefit the house. Perhaps most damning are the revenue reports I obtained from a whistleblower inside casino accounting. These documents track procedural variance revenue, money generated from dealer errors. One major Strip property saw this category increase by 34% after implementing their veteran dealer termination program. The blacklisting system is equally coordinated. Veteran dealers who are terminated for manufactured performance issues find themselves unable to secure positions at other properties. Lisa, a dealer with 19 years experience who was terminated in 2022, explained that after they fired her for supposedly not meeting their new standards, she applied at 7 other casinos. Each time, the interview went well until they checked her employment history. Then suddenly, positions were no longer available. The smoking gun in this investigation came when a mid-level casino executive agreed to speak with me anonymously. The recorded conversation reveals the brutal truth behind the strategy. In the recording, which I have verified as authentic, the executive says that experienced dealers are too customer-focused. They develop relationships with players, warn them about betting mistakes, and advise on optimal play. That hurts our bottom line. We need dealers who follow protocols, not think for themselves or try to help players. When asked about the increase in dealer errors, the executive responded that procedural errors generate more revenue than skilled game management. A dealer who makes mistakes in the house's favor is more valuable than one who runs a clean game. They said they had run the numbers, and a 2 to 3% increase in dealer error rate can translate to millions in additional revenue annually. The executive confirmed that the new training programs are deliberately designed to create what they called beneficial inconsistencies. New dealers are not taught all the nuances, so they default to interpretations of rules that favor the house. It is not technically cheating. They are simply not corrected when their mistakes benefit us. This systematic degradation of dealer quality is not going unnoticed by players. Casino player forums are filled with complaints about declining dealer standards and suspicious errors. A review of 3 major player forums revealed a 217% increase in complaints about dealer errors over the past 2 years. With a striking pattern, nearly 80% of reported errors favored the house. Michael, a weekly blackjack player for over 15 years, shared his experience. He said he used to know all the dealers at his favorite place. They were pro-as. Now every time he goes, there are new faces, and they are making mistakes he has never seen before, miscounting card totals, paying out incorrect amounts, and misapplying rules. And somehow, these mistakes always seem to benefit the casino. The true scope of this issue extends beyond individual player experiences. This represents a fundamental destruction of game integrity and the elimination of an entire professional class of workers who took pride in running fair games. Former dealers are speaking out despite fear of industry blacklisting. Maria, who was terminated after 16 years as a craps dealer, explained that they created new procedures that contradicted how we had been trained for years, then wrote us up when we did not adapt instantly. Meanwhile, new dealers were making fundamental errors that cost players money, and management looked the other way. Local news investigations picked up parts of this story, with 3 separate reports in 2023 examining the unusual wave of veteran dealer terminations. However, those reports missed the coordinated nature of the purge and the profit strategy behind it. The reality casinos will not admit publicly is that dealer errors have become a deliberate profit center. According to leaked financial documents, one major strip casino generated an additional $4.2 million in 2023 from what they classified as procedural variance revenue, money made directly from dealer errors. A former casino financial analyst confirmed there is a direct correlation between the decrease in dealer experience levels and the increase in house win percentages. Games that should have fixed mathematical edges are showing higher than expected wins because of dealer errors. The human cost of this strategy is devastating. Veteran dealers who dedicated decades to their profession have been systematically removed and replaced with undertrained workers who are set up to fail, or rather, to fail in ways that benefit the house. James, a 24-year veteran dealer who was terminated in 2023, described the personal impact. He said he had dedicated his life to being the best dealer he could be. He took pride in running fair games. Then overnight, everything he knew about being a professional was not just unvalued, it was actively punished. He was written up for being too thorough in explaining game rules to new players. His supervisor actually told him they did not need players to understand everything. The broader impact on game mathematical integrity cannot be overstated. When casinos deliberately employ undertrained dealers who consistently make house-favorable errors, the mathematical foundations of the games themselves are compromised. Games that should have fixed house edges effectively become significantly worse for players. A gambling mathematician I consulted analyzed the impact. Even small dealer errors can dramatically increase the house edge. For example, in blackjack, if dealers incorrectly pay even money on player blackjacks just 5% of the time, that alone can increase the house edge by nearly 0.5%, which represents millions in additional casino profit across thousands of hands. Players are losing more money due to these rigged conditions, and the cultural cornerstone of Vegas, the relationship between professional dealers and players, has been deliberately destroyed. The solution must come from multiple directions. First, players need to demand transparent hiring and training practices. Ask casino management about their dealer retention rates and training programs. Make it clear that dealer professionalism matters to you as a customer. Second, support properties that still maintain professional dealing standards. Some casinos, particularly some of the older establishments off-strip, still value dealer experience and game integrity. Give them your business. Third, document and report suspicious dealer errors to gaming authorities. The Nevada Gaming Control Board has a process for filing complaints about game integrity issues. Use it. Finally, use your wallet to force change. Boycott properties with poor dealer standards and make your voice heard on review sites and social media. Casino executives might ignore individual complaints, but they cannot ignore declining revenues. The veteran dealers who once made Vegas gaming a professional experience deserve better. And so do you, as a player. They fired the professionals who gave you fair games and replaced them with workers trained to make mistakes that steal your money. Both loyal dealers and loyal players were betrayed by the same corporate greed. Have you noticed dealer quality tanking? Share your observations in the comments. Hit like if you feel cheated, and subscribe. We are exposing every way they are rigging the game against you.